Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.
A bit of trivia now. See if you can guess this individual. He's regularly on the news nowadays. I will give you 3 hints about him. He is a quote-unquote charismatic military leader and a deeply pious figure. That's clue number 1. Clue number 2, and I'm quoting again, he stands as the fulcrum for the future of Afghanistan. Clue number 3, he is a quiet, secretive man who rarely gives public statements or interviews. Any ideas? Get ready to be surprised and disgusted. Our John Doe is Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, aka Baradar the Butcher. This is how the Time magazine describes him: charismatic and deeply pious. They have put him on their list of 100 most influential people. Mullah Baradar is a Time 100 alumnus now. Who else is on this list? Simon Biles, the young athlete who stood up against sexual predators. Alexei Navalny, the Russian political campaigner who is still in jail. Katalin Kariko, the biochemist who unlocked mRNA vaccines. Mohammed and Muna il-Kurd, Palestinian activists. These are some of the people on the list, and then you have Mullah Baradar. What is his claim to fame? Co-founder of the Taliban, deputy prime minister of an unrecognized regime, sanctioned by the United Nations Security Council. Baradar is not influential. He is notorious. And the Time magazine should know the difference. They have divided this list into 6 categories. Baradar appears in the list of leaders. Apparently, that's what we are calling terrorists nowadays. It's honestly jarring to read. You have Joe Biden on this list, Narendra Modi, Kamala Harris, Naftali Bennett, all elected leaders. Mullah Baradar does not deserve a place on it. So what is the Times' defense? Well, they don't have one, because they believe they're right. Here's what the Times editor-in-chief wrote. I find reason for optimism, as I hope you will, in our 18th annual Time 100 list of the world's most influential people. It features extraordinary leaders from around the world working to build a better future, from entertainers striving to make Hollywood more inclusive to activists fighting for sustainability and human rights. How is Mullah Baradar building a better future? How is he fighting for sustainability and human rights of all things? He is not. Baradar held senior positions in the first Taliban regime. He was an accomplice to gross human rights violations. He supported and guarded terrorists, yet he is influential. How does the Time magazine measure influence? Here's what their former managing editor said back in 2007. Influence is less about hard power of force than the soft power of ideas and example. Yes, there are presidents and dictators who can change the world through fiat, but we're more interested in innovators. That was 2007. Frankly, much simpler times. Back then, terrorists were on the run, not lionized in Western magazines. What kind of message does this send to readers, especially younger readers? They see scientists, they see athletes, politicians, and all of a sudden, Baradar pops up. It's simply irresponsible journalism. Unfortunately, it is also the Times brand of journalism. They have a habit of chasing power, and it doesn't matter if it's a dictator or a terrorist. All that matters is hogging the headlines. Take their Person of the Year award. It's another eternal controversy. We've seen some shockers over the years, but 1938 and 39 take the cake. Hitler and Joseph Stalin. Together, these 2 men killed nearly 30 million people. But the Time magazine named them Persons of the Year. Stalin got it twice. It tells you a lot about their ideology. It's less about activism and righteousness. It's more about catching eyeballs. You put Baradar on the list and everyone talks about it. It doesn't matter if he's a sanctioned terrorist. Time has amplified a dangerous trend emerging in the West. The definition of a so-called moderate Taliban. That's what the Times bio says. Baradar nonetheless, I'm quoting here, Baradar nonetheless represents a more moderate current within the Taliban, the one that will be thrust into the limelight to win Western support. Just to be clear, moderate is the wrong word. You have ultra-extremists and extremists. There are no moderates in the Taliban. The Time magazine failed to realize this. They have given the Taliban something valuable: legitimacy. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushaq, choose what really matters.